It's no surprise that the market is flooded with so many great tools to make music with. And as expected, those tools could cost a lot of money, and if you're anything like me, you don't have the disposable income to give to something that's just basically an advanced hobby that you might not be making any money from yet. But lucky for the both of us, there's still a ton of great free software that we can utilize in our projects. Here's a list of some standout free plugins that you can download and use in your music today. Let's start with Full Suite plugins. I'm going to define Full Suite as a collection of plugins that do everything you need them to do in a full production pipeline, bundled together completely for free. I feel like the obvious first choice for this would be the stock plugins that come with your DAW. We live in a modern era where basically everything is at least decent. And that goes for multiple industries, but specifically we'll talk music software here. When you download your DAW, it more than likely will come with at least some effects built into it. And typically these effects are decent to even really good. You can go onto YouTube right now and look at videos of professional producers showing their actual production setups and their production chains and all that stuff. And you'll see a surprising amount of stock plugins in there. And that's because stock plugins are just good. Workstations like Ableton and Logic Pro, they're known for having really great stock plugins. And my advice to beginners is typically don't even bother with third-party plugins until you already know what your stock plugins do. And then once you find holes in your workflow that you wish were better, find a third-party plugin that may fill that hole. But learn your stock plugins first. Next is going to be Complete Start by Native Instruments. Complete Start is a full production suite by Native Instruments, who makes some incredible instruments and some incredible plugins, and honestly they just make incredible things. Native Instruments, please sponsor me one day. This is a collection of plugins that came out a couple years ago. I remember when Complete Start first came out and I was on the list to download it, and the second I downloaded it and I started exploring, I was just enthralled by everything I saw. And it's only gotten better from there. There are so many things that come with Native Start, I have to read off of the website because I don't have them all memorized. Complete Start comes with 7 fully figured instruments, including Jacob Collier's new Audience Choir plugin, which that's really cool. Probably gonna make a video about that one, so stay tuned for that. You also get 7 really great effects, from a saturator, a reverb, a distortion, even a guitar amp simulator. It also comes with Factory Selection 2, which has tons of sampled instruments for you to use. In total, with Complete Start, you're getting 17 gigabytes worth of instruments, and they are incredible from top to bottom. And they all use the free Kontakt player as the hub that hosts all of these instruments. I will note that is different from Kontakt. Kontakt is a paid host, and Kontakt player is the free version of Kontakt. Moving on to instruments, first would have to be Vital. Everybody loves Serum, but nobody loves the price of Serum. That's where Vital comes in. Vital is a free, fully fledged synthesizer. Vital does everything that a basic synthesizer should do and more. It's a great tool if you want to start getting into learning sound design. It's very aesthetically appealing and also very user-friendly. Vital is the synthesizer that I use most often because it's just so easy to create a patch or just load up a plugin and tweak that one. You're also able to drop in your own samples and use that as a wavetable. And one of my favorite features of Vital is just how visual it is. You can see everything happening in front of you. You can see how everything interacts with each other. And for me, that's so helpful in visualizing how one parameter is interacting another. And not only is it great for just learning basic sound design, but you can also learn modulation on it too. Just learning how every single parameter can interact with another. This app is a must-have to me. And if you really, really love Vital, there are paid versions of it too if you want even more features to unlock even more out of this incredibly powerful synthesizer. Now for all my future film scores, this next one is for you, the BBC Orchestra Discover. This is a free plugin by Spitfire Audio. Spitfire has very quickly become one of my favorite brands because of how their plugins sound and the creativity that goes into creating them. Especially their Labs line, which we'll get to in a second. The BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover plugin is the free version of the BBC Symphony Orchestra plugin. This was sampled from the actual BBC Symphony Orchestra and features 33 instruments, including a grand piano, like hello, and 47 different playing techniques. And with that, you have so many resources to create beautiful orchestral scores. Usually, if you hear strings in any of my compositions, I'm using BBC. The plugin is designed so well visually, you can see exactly where everyone is sitting, so where that sound source is going to come from, but also switching between techniques is just as simple. But design aside, what really matters is the sound, and it is absolutely stellar. I'm incredibly picky about my string sounds because orchestras have such a specific timbre to me. And BBC nailed it. When this plugin first came on the market, to get the free version, you needed to fill out a survey first and then wait like a week or two, and then they would deliver it to you in your email. I don't think they still do that, but I remember those 2 weeks were the longest 2 weeks of my life. And when I finally got to hear it for the first time, I was blown away. I still have projects on my computer from me playing around with the BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover plugin. Might need a shorter name though, oh boy. And if you're worried about size, don't be. The whole plugin is 240 megabytes. It's incredibly small for the amount of quality that they put into it. Don't ask me how they did it, but their compression teams must be incredible. If you love the BBC Symphony Orchestra Discover plugin as much as I do, you may eventually want more features on it. Well, that exists. There are 2 tiers higher than Discover, and that is Professional and Core, and each one has added features that you can truly unlock what the full potential of this plugin is. If we're talking free plugins, a staple has to be Spitfire Labs. The Spitfire Labs Soft Piano probably is one of the most recommended and most used plugins in the world by now. I feel like every time I look at one of these plugin lists, it's always in it. So I'm going to make mine no different and add it too, because it's just that good. But I'm going to broaden it out a little bit and talk about the entire Labs brand. The Spitfire Labs brand is a completely free version of Spitfire. It is their free brand. Everything they record is such high quality. Some of it is more experimental and some of it's more traditional, but everything gets recorded in incredible quality. They have tons, and I mean tons, of new instruments coming out, and they claim that they release new instruments every month on their website. So there are tons already, and there's probably going to be tons more in the coming any amount of time. If you're looking for some inspiration, it may be worth to just search down that website and see what rabbit holes you can go down and see what you can find and see what you can hear. You never know where your next bit of inspiration may come from. Labs truly is something special because it's all music made by musicians for musicians. So everything just makes sense. From the way their plugins are designed to the way they sound and the way they behave, everything just kind of makes sense. If you're curious about the ones I use, I have the Labs Choir, I believe that's what it's called. I have strings, I have their trumpets. I think I have some other stuff too, but like I've been dealing with Labs for a long time. This next one I'm throwing in there because it's something that I've been looking for a while, so I figured somebody else is probably looking for it too. And it's called Dext. Dext is an FM synthesizer plugin that is modeled after the Yamaha DX7. You know, the one that played all of these songs. Some may say the sound is cheesy or it's overused, but I still adore it and I would love to use it in my music. But this is how much a DX7 goes for nowadays. And I don't know about you, but I don't have that. Dext sounds really, really good. Like, really, really good. Now, obviously, you can never have a perfect one-to-one recreation, but Dext sounds so good that it doesn't matter. Any differences between a real DX7 and Dext that you would hear would get lost in the mix. I think it's pretty incredible what was accomplished in the programming of Dext. I think that's just a testament to the programmers. And I will definitely be using it from now until I can afford my own DX7, and maybe even a little past that. Let's move on into some effects now. We all love effects. We all love taking our sounds and just mangling them and then seeing what happens. Or maybe just throwing a nice little reverb on there. Just making that real big space. Let's find some good plugins that can do that. First of all, let me tell you about the company Tal, or T-A-L, I don't know how to say it. Tal makes tons of really good plugins, and their free ones are no exception to that. Fun fact, one of the first vocoders I ever used was the Tal vocoder because it's one of the only ones I could find that was free, and it is still free to this day. But when it comes to free plugins, Tal offers a filter, a chorus, a noisemaker, a reverb, and a vocoder. Next up we have Valhalla. Everybody loves Valhalla, especially Supermassive, which is their reverb plugin. When it comes to Valhalla, they have Space Modulator, Frequency Echo, and Supermassive, and all of those are free and they all sound great. Valhalla is one of the heavy hitters when it comes to plugins, and that's for a reason. Well, there you go. You have a ton of different options now to choose from, and every single one of them is free. That's like no money. My shirt came unbuttoned. I didn't even notice that. I say this often, but now all there's left to do is to go out and create something. So I'll leave you to it. But if you wanted some more advice about how to get started recording music, watch this video right here where I gave a full guide on how to do exactly just that. Anyway, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, you know, do all the YouTube things. And I'll catch you later.